You're a very interesting character. Not only that, you have a very inspirational role to play in this in this existence, in this lifetime. And this is definitely very rebellious. There's something that you're doing that goes against societal norms, and you're doing something during this time that no one expects from you. And honestly, you're being placed in a position, I'm hearing, of not just of power, but it's to empower. Okay, you're being placed in a position of power to empower. Now, this is about that empowerment coming from within, and you being the physical embodiment of that and leading by example. And you're stepping into a position of leadership. Now, with that position of leadership, it's not to create followers. You are reminding fractals of awareness and helping them become conscious of the fact that they are here to lead themselves as they move through this existence. Now, you've always been used to being a channel, okay, of some kind, or being, yeah, I feel like a conduit, right? But the divine that's flowing through you is connecting and flowing through the divine the divine that's flowing through you is connecting to the divine within others. And you're here to instill confidence in those around you simply by reigniting your flame and passion and serving as a mirror for what that looks like. Okay, I'm hearing for what that personal empowerment looks like. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about you because the Queen of Wands, this is your energy. Queen of Wands in this deck is known as the Mystic. I do feel like this is not even just something from this lifetime. You know, this is just, it's something from even, parallel lives that's bleeding into this existence. But this is the Mystic, okay? I'll go ahead and read it for you. We'll go ahead and read her. Now, sunflowers have been huge as well. This is the Queen of Wands. She, again, has her black cat, that's her intuition, sunflower in hand, staff on the ground. She is seated in a position of power, okay, because she remembers the divine essence within her, okay? Now, I'll read you, guys. The Mystic. Courage, determination, wisdom. A figure stands on the precipice of molten lava pool swinging a 3-flamed lantern in the night, book pressed firmly against their body. They seem to be hiding something learned from the unknown. This is something that you guys have recovered. Again, she's one of the most deeply spiritual queens, okay? So the Mystic has nearly an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. This is about you being determined to seek out truth and courage, and you're courageous enough to think beyond the constructs of society for answers. I'm hearing this is almost like the quote of God cannot be found in a temple. One, those cannot find God within themselves. They seek it externally. And there is something about figures, almost like, Jesus, figures, many different figures that we have in this life where they are the representation, for example, him, of Christ consciousness, of a fractal of awareness, a fractal of source, you being an extension of the source energy, the creation, right? The creator playing within its own creation. And seeing life on earth through your subjective lens. And once you become aware of that interconnectedness, you do not need to seek it through a middleman. You don't need to seek it through, I'm hearing, a medium or another vessel, for you realize that you are an extension of that. The vessel is an extension of your origin point, your connection to infinite potential. And that infinite potential is literally within you. And that's what's dormant. And you can see that laying dormant within those around you. And there is definitely an essence of kind of, holding space for that. Someone that's yet to discover the power that they have within themselves. And there is almost a streak of rebellion. There is that level of, you don't want to be put on a pedestal. And that's exactly why you are, right? It's like you don't want to be put on a pedestal, and you will burn it down just to, I'm hearing, assist others in recovering their own internal flame. But yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about this, right? The Mystic shows up when you have acquired certain knowledge. So this is like a knowledge that you have, right? That you've recovered just through, connecting with yourself, going within. And in a reading, this card suggests that you may know more than you let on or realize. I feel like this is normal for you. You know, this connection that you have to yourself, to your spirit, to the divine is just totally normal for you. So I'm hearing there is almost like an essence of, well, don't you hear that too? Or how do you not understand? Like, how don't you see the things that I'm seeing? But you've had to get used to, not everyone is seeing this reality with the eye of the soul, right? With that lens. They are just looking at it upon the surface, and there's that kind of essence that's going on. We'll really get into it and unravel it, but yeah, it may require courage and determination to speak your voice, but your views on the situation are crucial for a group understanding. The high pedestal might make you feel isolated from others. We literally just spoke about a pedestal, right? So come down and share with those around you. It's almost like others may look up to you, right? I'm really, really seeing this very strongly for you. Others could look up to your light, but it's because you seem like you're higher only because you're mirroring the highest expression of this other extension of source, right? It's almost like you are here to kind of uplift that spirit and help everyone see each other as equals. It's like you see everyone as an equal, whether they're aware of it or not. There's that kind of essence that's coming through here. Super, super interesting. It's super, super interesting. And it's almost like even every time you're put up to, oh my gosh, you're so interconnected with the divine, or oh my gosh, you have all these gifts, or da 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 da, you know, there's that essence that's coming through. It's like, no, we are all encoded with literally the same infinite potential within us, you know? It's just waiting to be expressed. You just need to release all the belief systems that have kind of distorted the view of everything that you already are within you, right? Of your true nature. There's that essence that's coming through. So this is your presence, right? This really is your aura. And I'll go ahead and read the second a message of you, right? Inspiration, wisdom, radiating energy, charisma. See, the Queen of Wands, she's a character who she literally has this exothermic reaction. She's the sun, right? She's the embodiment of the sun. And this is about you transferring light and heat, okay, which is truth to your surroundings. You do emit this and transmit this element of joy that is also absorbed, okay? It's almost like, again, you are the sun. What does the sun do? Emit photons, right? Emit light, emit information, frequencies, codes that speak to another soul. And there's something around a medium or embodiment or example that you're here to mirror, right? You mirror back infinite potential to those around you. And it feels good, right? It feels like something that maybe those around you are inspired by, but they don't realize that they're being inspired by another version of themselves. You know, that's almost like an energy that's coming through. So this is a charismatic and wise figure. This, you know what it is? It's, I don't know if you've seen that meme, but it's where Jesus, you know, he's here and he's like, oh my god, he's like rolling his eyes and he's like I was supposed to be symbolic of a figure and one example of the extension of God, and we all are that. I didn't mean for you to worship me. It's that kind of essence. I do feel like there is a level of you being glorified, or something that makes you stand out in a way, but you're here to kind of mirror a contrast. You're here to mirror that different kind of example, the one that has found God within their own temple, the one that has found this interconnectedness to source in their sovereignty, right? Those who cannot find love within themselves will go to seek it externally. Those who cannot find their connection to the divine will seek it through, you know, external unions. Those who cannot, you know, reunify those aspects within themselves, the physical and the non-physical, right? Those who cannot find God again in their mind, in their heart, in their own internal temple, will go to seek it in an external one. So they both understand the inner workings of things and radiate an inspirational energy. when combined, the mystic's thirst for knowledge and the queen's charisma can be unstoppable. And there is something about you being totally unstoppable during this time, like just being totally unstoppable in the light that you radiate. And when she enters a room, and again, this is about shifting from being the source, because again, people see her as a sun, right? They see her as like a figure that's to be praised externally, when she's actually the example of a reminder that you are source too, playing in its own creation, right? And because of that, this is like a presence of rebellion that you have, right? Presence of rebellion. When she enters, you feel her before you see her, and what people feel within you is an essence of infinite potential, right? Of the highest possible embodiment and expression. So the atmosphere lifts, right? People feel brighter. They feel that element of being home, feeling safe in the way that you have learned to, right? And it's very, very interesting. And it's almost like when you sit in the sun's presence, you do feel recharged. You feel great because you feel safe. You feel at home, right? In your home, you're in your own creation that you've made for yourself, and you're playing in it. Anyway, I was seeing how, how the sunflowers follow the sun, right? They follow the sun's path, and surrounding it is like fear, right? Surrounding it could even be doubt. But this is almost a reminder of how your connection to source is stronger than any, your connection to love is stronger than any. And the interaction that those around you have is that when you kind of look at them, you remind them of the light within them, right? It's almost like you see the spark within you that they may have forgotten. And conversations with you are almost like fire rituals in that way. It's here to reignite that flame and spark within you. And you leave others with that burning inspiration. You dare them to be bolder, to be a brighter version of themselves, one that is unapologetic. And you mirror that essence, right? It's like you mirror that essence. So yeah, meeting you does leave those changed. So anyway, the scene that I was seeing for you is one day, and I feel like this is you stepping into this lifetime. One day you enter the field, and you've been used to, I feel like in previous, or we're talking about parallel timelines that are kind of playing out simultaneously, that are bleeding into your experience on Earth, especially in this lifeline. You walk into the field very, very differently. You walk into the sunflower field, and the sunflowers turn towards you as they always do, right? Maybe this is about people seeking guidance, turning towards you. And instead of kind of basking in adoration, right, you raise your staff towards the sky and you point to the sun. And in that moment, the sunflowers pause, right? They're kind of golden heads. They begin trembling in anticipation. What do you mean? We've always gone to the temple for guidance, right? We've always kind of gone through a medium in order to connect with those that have passed on. And there's this great realization that sweeps across the field during that moment, right? And they all look, but not at her, not at you anymore, but the sun itself. So in that instant, they realized, again, they never needed a temple to find God. They never needed a priestess to reach the higher self. And they had direct connection all along. They never needed to seek guidance externally outside of themselves. Instead, they were the guiding force within them. And everything externally was only a mirror. It was leading them back to their internal origins and cosmic origins. All external networks were a projected map that was showing them that their map is internal, that their compass is internal. It's an internal navigation system. And the external was only reinforcing that to them. It's like bringing them back to it. And there's something around you walking into this lifetime, you walking into this existence where, the Queen of Wands, after she realizes that all other kind of fractals of awareness begin to wake up consciousness and become aware of the fact that they have this direct connection to source, and the source is within, so go within. She kind of begins to smile because she sees consciousness wake up. And once consciousness wakes up and a fractal awareness becomes conscious of itself, begins to behave very differently as it moves through this existence. And the behavior of those around you that you're witnessing kind of transform as they step into their power, as they remember themselves and the true nature of this existence, is something that you're here to kind of remind them of. And that is your purpose, right? I feel like your purpose is the embodiment of this. And you see every vessel, every individual sunflower turn towards the light and have that direct connection and no longer seek a medium. So yeah, there is something around the field of sunflowers awakens, not just as followers, but actually as sovereign creators in this existence, sovereign beings, each having their own dialogue with source, each having their own dialogue with being capable of the, photosynthesis of the soul, if you will, right? Like this cycle that you'll go through, this regenerative life force, and being able to connect to that directly, exercising your own intuition, trusting your own internal guidance, not always seeking externally for that, and not being able to trust yourself. So you are a teacher, I feel like you are a teacher and you're here to teach those around you about their potential and almost to awaken that, something that has lain dormant, that's always been there. You're here to just gently, wake up consciousness. So yeah, the Queen of Wands is an initiator. She's a figure that kind of steps aside, and instead of pointing them, to me and follow me, she says, you know the way. You just need to dismantle the belief systems that have tried to convince you otherwise. You just need to turn straight to the source in your light within, and don't focus on the shadows around. Don't focus on your doubt. Don't focus on the fear. Don't focus on your own chattering mind. Life becomes very enjoyable when you can observe that voice and remember yourself and your true nature. So yeah, embodying source. That's the gift. Embodying source and what that looks like. Density. To become less dense in the medium you're immersed in. Density is about things no longer weighing you down. And I feel like with geocentric model, this is about the wounded ego weighing you down. You're not here to change anyone, but there is something that you're doing here on earth, and it's to embody the true self. And what that looks like is not to change who you are at your core essence. We all have the sun inside of us. We're an extension of that light. But you're here to embody what happens when you discard everything that is not of your cosmic origins. Everything that we pick up on earth. The geocentric model is an earth, the part of you that's kind of becomes touched by time, the part of you that becomes affected by the belief systems that you kind of adopt from this matrix, from this construct. You're here to kind of show the version of self that detaches from societal norms, the one that doubts ourselves, detaches from the construct of this matrix, and is no longer weighed down by the weight of this world, right? And with density and geocentric model, it's almost like you're no longer weighed down by this system. You're tuning into the part of you that's unaffected by time, unaffected by the events that have transpired in this physical realm. And you're remembering yourself as more non-physical, having a physical experience. And all you're doing is undoing. And you're mirroring what that undoing looks like, what that carefree version of self looks like, who trusts themselves. And that's what's going on. So I'm going to love and leave you right there. I don't feel like we need to say anymore, but it's just a very interesting energy, it's a very, very interesting energy. So have you felt like this, right? Have you felt like you've been put on a pedestal? Have you felt like others have always been the ones to turn towards you for advice? And it's because of your ability to be objective. It's your ability to see things from a higher perspective, from the higher self in physical form, to navigate life on earth as that embodiment, as that version of self. And, you know, that is your true self. And you're mirroring what that looks like. I'm hearing what that calming, present, silent observer looks like that is within you. And you're mirroring that same quiet, still observer within everything and everyone all around you. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave you right there. Speak to you guys very, very soon. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Join the 𝓬𝓻𝓪. Personal reading details are also down below. And yeah, check out Otter Spirit if you guys are looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. $1 of the proceeds are donated towards otter sanctuaries, and they're just beautiful gemstones to be able to choose from. You have a plethora of selections, and I'll speak to you very soon. Until next time, bye.